What's up, Arrowheads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. I'm Campea, and I'm so happy you guys are able to join us. And also joining me at this table are some very lovely gentlemen, starting with the lovely Jason Inman.
Hello, hello. I brought this badge just so I can arrest myself later for being too much of a nerd.
And also joining me is the lovelier Michael Medina.
Ooh, lovelier. I like that. I like where your head's at. I'm so happy to be here. I can't wait to start talking about Arrow.
And the loveliest of them all, Mr. Josh Macuga.
I have not failed this show yet. What's up? What's up, guys? How's everybody?
Notice that he said yet.
Yeah, yes. I will eventually fail this show.
There's still time.
And it's a pleasure to be here.
I'm so happy you guys are here with us. We are so excited for this season of Arrow. Season 4 premieres on October 10th. This is the Arrow Recap Show where we talk about all things Arrow, everything we love, everything we hate, our predictions. And so make sure you guys subscribe to Collider Video to follow the Arrow Recap Show throughout Season 4. So until Season 4 starts, we thought we would get together, launch our pre-show, and talk about everything that has happened thus far. So you guys, we've had 3 seasons, lots of drama, lots of big bad villains, lots of heartbreak, lots of death.
Lots of, huh?
Lots of, huh? So, you know, the good and the bad.
Truth.
And so we thought it would be cool to kick this recap show, this pre-show off by starting with what we feel has been the defining moment of the season thus far. And so I'd like to start with Josh and ask you, what do you feel has been that moment for you?
Well, I mean, there are so many. If I was going to... Okay, obviously, the Oliver and Felicity, when they finally hooked up, was totally the defining moment of the season.
Really?
No, of the show. I think, you know, everybody hated this part, but for me, it really... It took me into a weird place with the show of like, okay, I guess they can do anything, was when in Oliver's 5 years supposedly on an island, when he came back to Starling City and you were like, wait, he came back to this? So this is now anything is possible in this show. Now, for better, for worse, maybe that was a dumb thing. Maybe that wasn't. I don't know. But it really kind of takes a lot of things out of season 1 of like, he acts so shocked that Speedy was on drugs and stuff like that. But they did he did come back to Starling City, showing that kind of anything was possible within. Maybe the writers took a little too much carte blanche with that we can do anything, but something about that scene really was like, okay.
Did you not feel like jaded as a viewer? Because I rewatched season 1. And in the very first episode, he gives that whole spiel of, I haven't left this island ever.
Yeah.
Can I introduce something crazy that might solve that?
Yes.
Well, you see, we have a person in this universe called this that can time travel and reset the universe. Timelines can be crazy now.
All right, Back to the Future 2. Take it easy.
But that's something that always bothered me because, again, he kept stressing the fact that I was on the island, but he wasn't really always on the island. You know, comes like season 3, we saw he spent like that whole season in Hong Kong, which we'll probably get into that in a second. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I don't know. I love the show nonetheless, so I don't know, we'll see.
Jason, what do you think?
From the past season?
No, I mean, in terms of, you know, that
Oh.
lie of him being on the island.
I agree with you. I think I would have preferred it if he had stayed on the island all 5 years and they would have just kind of gone the Lost route with it, you know, and made this island as full of
better, for worse.
Well, the better episodes of Lost.
Okay, Smoke monster.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
But like, because when they introduced Ivo in the second season, I was like, oh, okay, so there could be a lot of stuff. Like I missed the scene where he discovered that Argus has a base on this island. Like that could have been the whole 3rd season. Yeah. You know, they could have gone so many possibilities because again, the Hong Kong didn't really deliver. Now that being said, these illusions that we might see a Hal Jordan storyline pop on into the show is really kind of cool and might redeem the flashbacks.
Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah, I was not a big fan of season 3's like flashbacks with Hong Kong. I love the island stuff. I would love to see like more like when we got to see like the prison that he had to put like this, the death stroke in there. So I would have loved to have seen more of that. And it was just such a letdown for me with season 3's flashbacks. Ultimately, I felt didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So what I'm getting mostly is that you guys hated my moment of the show.
It's pretty much what I'm trying to say.
But hold on, let me defend myself for a hot second. Is that okay? Yes, they may have gone a little too much Hong Kong. The bioweapon thing was a little like, okay.
It was a slow burn.
It was a slow burn. You're right. It was like a really long cigar that tasted terrible at a lot of times. But you want to know how he eventually maybe gets back to that island and what happens when he does get back on that island, because eventually we have to get to that point where he shoots that arrow and blows up that thing and
has a
how
huge
he's found.
beard.
And he has a huge beard. I mean, he's got to grow that beard.
He's gonna have months for that.
That 5 o'clock that 5 o'clock shadow has to grow to a beard.
That's a season in itself.
Yes. Yeah.
And I'm glad you brought up beards because I'm going to ask Jason what you feel is your defining moment of the seasons thus far.
Oh man. Well, of the entire series, I would say the most defining moment for me is the one that grabbed me the first, and that was the first time where in season 1, in a flashback, they captured Oliver, and into the tent walks Deathstroke. And now at the time, we didn't know it was Wintergreen, Billy Wintergreen, Billy Wintergreen.
Yep.
But it was still cool when
He
Yao.
sounds a lot like Ricky Winterborn from the 1080 franchise on Nintendo 64. But that's another thing.
But when Yao Fei comes in there with the hood and shoots that arrow and he catches it in the midair, I was like, oh my God, finally a live action Deathstroke, and this is awesome.
And done well.
Yeah.
Manu Bennett was fantastic as Deathstroke.
Yeah. And that wasn't even Manu Bennett. That was like some Mr. Stunt guy.
And even if you go back to, some of the after shows we had for season 1, I was still guessing, is it Billy Wintergreen that's actually going to be Deathstroke, or is it somebody else? And so they had me guessing as a fan.
But I like how they played Billy Wintergreen, because that was kind of like his Alfred. Kind of. Yeah. Deathstroke's Alfred. So the fact that they kind of played that and did it well, I thought it was interesting.
Yeah.
All right, Michael, what about you? Defining moment?
My defining moment would be in the season finale, I believe, when Ra's al Ghul was like, you're also him. And he's like, no, my name is Oliver Queen. It's like, that was that one moment when he's like, no, this is who I am. I've accepted who I am. I am he's not Arrow anymore, but he's like, I'm Oliver Queen. This is my city. This is who I stand for. This is my family, his teammates, Team Arrow. And so it was very powerful. He delivered the hell out of that line, and he's a fantastic actor. I love that scene.
Yeah, I think there it is. Right
I'm Oliver Queen.
Wait, hold on.
I could not have said it better myself.
Yes,
I'm Oliver Queen.
We're both Oliver Queen. And we have never failed a city.
Hi, guys. I'm Barry Allen.
Hey. I'm going to have to ask you to chill it right now. Captain Lance.
I like here. Your badge never stays on. It's like you take it off. Like,
it solidifies the power of the badge, for sure.
You got to respect it, or I'm going to have heart problems.
Somebody give me some vodka. I mean, I'm sober. Take it easy.
Okay, so I will have to say my defining moment, I'm going to go all the way back to season 1, is in the season 1 series or season finale, is when Tommy and Malcolm had that conversation about where Tommy's like, Dad, are you really like this crazy villain? And he's like, actually, yes, I am. I don't know if you guys remember that scene, and it's in Malcolm's office right before
Is it right before Tommy finds out?
Yes.
About
yes. And so it's a really serious conversation. And Malcolm's like, listen to your mom's voicemail before she dies. And I was just like, wait, what is going on here? It's just, it's a really strong scene between father and son. But for me, why it's a defining moment is that Malcolm, he really gives you an idea of why he is the way he is. Right? It defines his character, it defines his motivation. He's trying to avenge his wife who died in the Glades, and he thinks that by leveling the Glades that he's doing something good for everybody. So it's just a really good scene. John Barrowman, I think, is the best actor on this show. And so
he's great.
The fact that we see Malcolm from season 1 and now to season 3, where he has taken the reins of the League of Assassins, the leader.
Ra's al Ghul.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so to see the evolution of the character and to kind of go back to season 1 and see how he started was a defining moment for me.
See, for me, when I'm because I guess maybe on this panel I'm the least knowledgeable of the comic books. And
we have plenty in front of
you.
I know.
I've reading.
Start reading right here.
If you guys, Jason was kind enough to bring these amazing comic books.
Yes, most of these toys and comics came from DC Collectibles, so thank you so much to them. And Kevin Kinnery at DC
check
Collectibles.
Jason's camera, we have the Felicity Smoke there. That's not even available for the next couple of months.
Yes, again.
So if you guys want to take a screenshot of that and be that for Halloween, and then come over to my apartment, and I will judge your Felicity Smoke outfit. That was a little creepy. I'm sorry.
That's right. Guys and girls, feel free, Doug.
And I'll be shirtless Oliver Queen right here. That's the sexy shirtless
salmon ladder action.
Yes. No, I guess watching the Arrow off the bat, I was like, Tommy Merlin seems like such a little pansy, and his dad just seems like kind of like, I'm rich and look at all my money. But then I kind of wish that they would have kept Tommy around for a little bit to see if he would have maybe come into his own. Like I would have much rather seen Tommy Merlin become some kind of a badass than Laurel Lance. And I know we can all argue it, but Tommy Merlin kind of had a little bit of an edge to him.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I was just gonna say I fully expected him to be Merlin.
Definitely.
And that's why I like that twist, because I totally expected, from the pilot episode, I was like, oh, Tommy's going to become the classic Arrow villain, Merlin. So that when they introduced Dad as the Dark Archer and they killed Tommy, I was so blown away, and it hooked me into the show. And I think Tommy's death means something. If you look at each season as the successive journey that we've taken 4 seasons to get to Green Arrow, Tommy's death is an important step along that way. Yeah. And it so matters. I hate to say it, I'm glad they killed him because of the story. We got so much better. But here's my caveat with that.
Thanks, Jason.
Yep. Yeah. I want to see him in every season finale. Like, come back in one of the flashbacks. Because I think every time he comes back to the show, it's one of those moments where you're like, yes, he's back.
Yeah.
No, I'm actually with you. I agree with Tommy. It's kind of like Peter Parker and Gwen Stacy. I think Uncle Ben kind of built the foundation, like his death, but Gwen Stacy's death really defined Peter Parker as Spider-Man. That was his defining moment. And with the death of Tommy...
Dad and Tommy.
Yeah,
nice.
Yeah. So it was just one of those moments like, I could see that, and it's like, I loved it. I'm with you. I think
just
his
as
death
an
is
apology
perfect.
to the fans, we'll never reference the Amazing Spider-Man on this show.
Is that a DC character?
What is that?
One strike.
What's it?
In the multiverse, everything is possible.
All right, so you guys, this show is not perfect. You know, obviously we've given you our defining moments, but there are some flaws in the show as well. And so I thought it would be cool to talk about what we feel, we're at season 3, what we feel can be improved in the series. And so, Michael, let's start with you.
There's one right back here. Right behind me, it's this guy right here, Giggle. I have been bitching, and I think for the most part, most fans have been bitching. Like, where's Giggle's suit? Made no sense to me whatsoever that with a team full of superheroes with secret identities, that he would walk around, hey, what's up, guys, and like have not even think once about like wearing a suit. It was just stupid.
Wouldn't it be awesome if Giggle did walk around like that? Like,
with those super extra tight polos and leather jackets. But seriously,
check out my leather jacket.
It made no sense to me. So it's like, fine, I'm glad he's got a costume, happy. But I mean, I just don't see how whoever designed that helmet could have sat back and be like, that's all right, man. I've never seen anything like this before. This is totally original. No one's ever gonna bitch about this. And just it doesn't make sense to me. I don't like it. Now you could say maybe he could be Guardian. I know that rumor's kind of floated around.
That's where I'm hoping this goes.
That's where I'm hoping too.
Yeah.
I'm really hoping they make sense of that somehow. But it doesn't. And maybe if he was wearing like a suit of armor, it might make sense, but I just don't like the look.
Well, let's pause on that because we are going to get to the season 4 trailer. So I don't want to jump ahead, but that's really good. Josh, what about you for improvements for this season? Or this season thus far?
Like, I mean, if we're going to go, 1 through 3 and what I think that they can definitely improve on, I think it's like a lot of season 3 seemed like jazz, where it was just like, what's like improv comedy. Like they were like, well, Laurel Lance, Rachel, well, like every time something happened, you're like, why is Rachel Gould doing that? He doesn't, why is Malcolm? So then I had to after each episode, I was like, all right, let me write this down. Okay, so now Rachel Gould is going to do this, that. I think it would be really nice to have a little bit more, I guess maybe more thought out kind of things instead of every episode going straight for the shock moment when everybody's like, really? That's the shock moment?
Well, that was kind of like how season 2 was for me, where I felt like almost every episode kind of ended with a what? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was season 2 was my favorite season, but this particular season I think was a little convoluted. The story, there was way too many characters, which is great. I love that you're expanding Team Arrow. That's wonderful, but there's just too much going on. Some characters just don't get fleshed out. That's great. Good for you.
Good effort.
But seriously, it was just too much of a good thing, and it just didn't really work for me.
Jason, any thoughts?
I kind of hope. I think that the things that I would want to change in the show, I think it seems like they are changing. Like one of my biggest complaints about the show is it always felt like Thea had nothing to do. And now that she's finally Speedy, I'm like, okay, cool. She's gonna have a purpose. Make her Oliver's sidekick, like they teased in the pilot, and let's do this. Yeah. The other thing is that this is also something that in the season 4 trailer it kind of looks like they might be doing. Is that I think you called the 3rd season convoluted. I kind of felt the problem with the 3rd season was they took Green Arrow and put him in a Batman story.
Pretty much, yeah.
And because the 3rd season very much was a Batman story. It's a great Batman story. It's not a Green Arrow storyline. And I think that's why a lot of fans have reacted negatively to it.
I agree.
There's still a lot of great moments in it, and the other thing about it is like third season of Arrow is still like way better than anything Smallville ever gave us. So,
How dare you?
but I hope that the fourth season we finally get to see the mayoral storyline, that Oliver Queen, like the city knows he's the vigilante and the city knows his identity. Although that might have been wiped out with the whole death of Roy, I'm not certain. But I want him to run for mayor, just like his mom, and win the city.
That'd be cool.
Maybe for me, there's always like that joke of. Like a picture of a superhero, and they get home, and then the bat signal goes up. It's like, I just sat down. Oliver Queen. It felt like in season 3, he was just always like, he'd get back to Starling City, fight for 10 minutes, but I got to get back to Nanda Parbat. And then he'd go to Nanda Parbat and like, hey, we fought a little bit, call Flash, and then I got to get back to the city. And then he'd get back. It just seemed like too much. Yeah. And the one time they all went to Nanda Parbat together, it seemed like Nanda Parbat was like 3 days by plane away, but every time Oliver Queen would go, it was like, oh, he's taking a weekend in Nanda Parbat. Don't worry about it.
It's like,
they had the fastest jets in the world.
Yeah, exactly.
The crossover when he came towards I forgot what episode that was on Flash. When he stopped by and stuff, he stopped by for like 2 seconds for that fight with Reverse Flash. And like, all right, bye guys, I'm gone.
Yeah,
bye.
Yeah. It just, I mean, maybe that, like for me, I love where your thought goes is that we get back to Oliver Queen wanting to solve the problems in Starling City and not so much like a Ra's al Ghul, League of Assassins kind
We want to
of
get
thing.
back to him not failing the city.
Yeah.
Yes.
Get failing us, Sally.
Gonna be a
tell us
drinking
more
game.
stuff about
Might as well
things.
make this a drinking game, seriously.
Yeah. If you guys are watching the show, every time I put a hood on, take a shot.
Oh,
and
that's
you
scary.
will
Lord.
not make it
That's
out of the
scary.
house.
This is going to be a long
What happens
season.
if you leave the hood on the whole episode?
Oh, God, they
That's
just have to
scary.
keep chugging beer one after the other.
Well, I think, in terms of improvement, I think they really botched Felicity this last season. I think she went from a strong character that everybody was attracted to. She was super funny, super
Well, I think people are still attracted to
strong. Oh, well, yeah, okay. I take that back. She is still very attractive.
Hands
but
off, Medina.
She
My
just
girl
got, she got
I'm a Nisa
really
guy. It's
sensitive.
all
Yeah,
good, though.
pull that up because, this is the Felicity from, it looks like season 1, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the Felicity. Look
Classic
at her face.
business
Super
skirt.
strong, it's character. And I think in this season, they just brought her way to the other end of the spectrum where she was just fawning over Oliver. She was just so weak in her character. And so,
And the whole Ray Palmer part.
yeah.
Like, oh, I date Ray now just to like get the Arrow jealous. Well, he's in Nanda Parbat. I'll be on my. I mean,
Well, it seemed to me kind of like what you're saying. Like, she was a very strong character, and that's one of the things I loved about her and admired about her. But I felt that there were moments when it's fine to break down. I get it. This is, when you look at like the world that they live in, but there were times when she seemed a little whiny.
Yeah.
Kind of lost that strength that she had.
when
which-
the team needed her, a lot of times she wasn't there.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Especially that scene when they were like injecting the little the nanobites or whatever
Yeah.
they called it. I know that's Big Hero 6, but
The nanobots?
nanobots.
There you
The
go.
nanobots thing. They're like, oh, Ray couldn't do that himself. They were always looking for Felicity. We can't find her in her cell. Whatever. She's got to be with the Arrow team, kind of helping out. And unfortunately, she was off, flirting it up with Palmer. I didn't necessarily think that helped her character, nor did it help the storyline, nor did anybody really feel like there was much chemistry because.
No, it was it felt like, it really did felt like a forced relationship.
Yeah.
That was
between
kind
her
of my
and Ray.
problem with the whole fact that I felt it was a little convoluted. I felt like there's just too much going on. I love all these characters, but you had to introduce Ray Palmer somehow. So I
Yeah.
guess this was the way to do that.
Yeah.
I'm very curious about the panel. Who do you think Oliver should end up with? Who do you feel? Who of the female characters introduced in the show so far do you feel Oliver should hook up with?
So we're talking series finale.
Series finale. Who does he walk
walks
off into the sunset with? Not drive.
in some expensive car. I mean, as much as I hate saying this, I'm always about like the original love, the original high school sweetheart. He walks off with Laurel.
Yeah.
I agree.
Me too.
I agree.
Me too.
And here comes the Flash.
Yep.
Causing all the
Central City over here.
Typical Flash.
Iris.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
said end up with Iris.
No, I think Felicity. I think it's going to be. And this is the thing with like TV shows and stuff. Relationships on TV shows and films are boring. That's why they always try to spice things up a little bit. So they break them up, whatever. I ultimately think he's going to be a Felicity. I think he should be Felicity. I mean, their chemistry works. He's kind of the straight guy, and she's just kind of a goofball. It just works for me, that chemistry. I want to see them
Straight
together.
guy. He's killed like 46 people. You're talking about.
Well, it's like season 2 and 3.
Okay,
Is
it's
there
the
an
bad boy with the hood versus like the nerdy girl who did really well in her science project.
It's like peanut butter and chocolate.
Oh my God.
Peanut butter and chocolate is delicious. I think we're talking about peanut butter and pickle.
Okay, before we get too far from Arrow, let's get to season 4 though, because we did touch on it a little bit with Dignito over here.
Dignito.
We did get
hashtag
a trailer for
Nailed
season
it.
4 that dropped just a few weeks ago. Social media was going crazy over certain pieces of it, so I thought I'd pull some images, and I don't even think these guys know what I pulled from the season 4 trailer. Thought we'd do kind of just a lightning round of what we feel.
This is like one word.
We can only say one word?
Yeah, let's
I like
do
that.
it.
All right.
One word. All right, so first image is obviously Dignito, appropriately named because social media was abuzz about this new costume that Diggle is in. So, Josh, let's go. One word.
Boba Fett has failed this city.
That's like 5 words.
More than
That's
one
fine.
word, but okay.
It's all a hashtag, so it's one word.
Michael,
ha ha.
Jason.
I say cases. Did you see all the cases in that shot? Look, bring that shot back up. Look at all the cases that he's standing up in. What are those?
It's true. It's
All
true.
right, you guys. Here's my word right here.
She brought it.
I didn't even realize they started selling Diggle helmets. That's
Wait,
amazing.
is that the Diggle helmet?
This is the Magneto Diggle.
Wait, I'm sorry. Who's Magneto? Who is this?
Wait.
Who is this? I don't know.
Isn't this from that Will Ferrell movie? This is from something else, isn't it? Or is this the Diggle helmet?
This is the Diggle helmet right
Sure, it's
there.
the Diggle
The first
helmet.
and
that's
only.
what
I
it is.
stole it off of him.
Hold on, we'll do a crossover. Put your hood up. You be Diggle Arrow.
Here it is. I look like Dr. Doom right now or something.
Yes.
You kind of
What's
do.
happening? Yes. So obviously you guys,
Here,
Dignito, that was social media going crazy.
put the hood up. Now I'm just confusing everybody. What is going on? All right.
All right. Next image. Damien Dark. Josh, let's start with you.
Villain.
Oh, surprise. Michael.
Yes.
Justified, because that's the show he was on a couple seasons ago.
Oh,
Nice.
And
I think we'll go quickly through it. I think for those of you that saw season 3, obviously Damien Dark was mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
Damien Dark was mentioned in season 3. And so do we have any insight into who this guy is?
He's actually a very obscure comic book character, so it's very interesting that that's the villain they decided to go for in this season.
Yeah. He does have connections with Hive, who have been mentioned on the show.
Yeah, he is the leader of Hive, so maybe and Hive is sort of the DC Universe's Hydra almost. The Ra's al Ghul connection's new. That's not something that's been in the comic books, so that's I think how they explain how Damien Dark is in this. If they do like Ra's al Ghul mixed with Lex Luthor, it could really work, but we'll see.
Right.
Well, there was the whole was it Felicity's dad? Do you think that he could possibly be her? Like, do you remember there was mention of her dad?
People even speculated Ivo was her dad at some point. So I don't.
I mean, he is very.
Everybody's Felicity's dad.
Damien Dark is very tech savvy.
I'm blanking on
I don't
the
know.
politician from season 2, Blood.
Brother Blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think he's going to be what we were hoping from that character.
Oh,
That'd be
okay.
cool.
Well, the interesting thing about Hive is that any weird continuity incongruities for the last 4 seasons, they can explain away with Hive.
Yeah.
You know, if they connected every villain or little offshoot villain with Hive, they could really give Arrow this very strong through line that we were like, what? They're all connected? Oh!
Mind blown. Okay, next image. The green suit, you guys. I'm going to start. I think it's, aerodynamic. That's my word.
Ooh.
Aerodynamic.
Michael.
You've
Nice.
been prepping that.
No,
you
I-
had prepped
For the
that.
last few weeks on that.
Yeah.
Michael, what do you think?
Cool.
Cool.
Meh.
Stripes, because he has stripes on his hood now.
Oh, yeah. God damn it. I need stripes on
You
my
need
hood.
stripes, man.
I need some stripes. Finally, I had to reiterate on a couple images ago. Finally.
Finally.
I love that we're getting the green suit. It's just, come on.
Yep.
It's the Green Arrow.
Yeah. All right, next image.
Can I start with this one?
Yeah, go.
MacGruber-esque.
Badass?
It's not one word, but I think get to the chopper.
Yeah, I agree with badass. That's
All
right.
right.
Yeah.
All right, next image. Do you guys recognize this one? If not, I could set it up.
a little
Is
dark.
that-
It's the flashback scene in season 4 trailer. So this is actually Oliver finally getting to Starling, or now Star City. So Josh,
I don't know, anticipation.
yeah, I think that's a good one for me too. Like anxious.
Yeah.
Excitement.
Retcon?
That's good, actually.
And I think that's a good image to leave off on because that image really connects us from the seasons past to the season present, because now we understand that Oliver actually did go back to Starling City at some point, which we didn't know before. So that was a really interesting thing. So I think we should go into some predictions for season 4 and then get into some fan questions. So just, overall thoughts on the trailer and what you guys think is going to happen, because by the time we finish this recap show on episode 22 or 23, whoever did not predict correctly will owe me $1,000. So
What? Sounds fair.
Jason, let's go with you
Oh,
first.
Lord.
Double down on that.
Let me get some people I know on the phone. Wow. I guess if we're going predictions, I might as well just go crazy, right?
Yeah.
I love this.
Okay, let's say that.
Take it, Inman. Give me something.
Let's say he finally goes to Bloodhaven. We finally get to see it after mentioning it for 3 seasons straight. He'll finally go there. Let's say we won't see Hal Jordan, but we'll meet Carol Ferris, and we'll see Ferris heirs. Let's see. Also, I think that we will see some effective time travel. I think we might almost see 2 seasons of Arrow this season. Why that? I mean, I think we're going to go halfway through the season. I think old Barry is going to do something in his mid-season finale, and we're going to see Arrow reset or see a character disappear or something like that. I think Arrow is going to be heavily affected by time travel because of Flash and Legends of Tomorrow.
Nice. Michael?
I predict a major death this season. I
You
could
took
see.
my Medina.
Damn it!
I mean,
It could be the captain.
I think it's going to be the captain.
I think so. I think it's one of
Shit
those
on
like
all the
I think it's
time.
going to be him.
the big one.
Why
the
does he have
badge
to die?
floats at the bottom of the water. You see the.
Sarah, I'm coming for you. Oh, you're alive now. Damn it.
Get me in the Lazarus pool. Crap.
So I think it's I love his character, but I think it's time for him to go. I think that's
Wow.
gonna happen.
Damn. All right.
Okay.
Josh?
I'm gonna stay in the death scene. Now, okay, here's the thing. Inman went big on a lot of things that I'm like, I didn't even think of that. I'm thinking that Sarah Lance kills Laurel Lance.
You're
what?
bonkers down,
You're
man.
just ripped
No.
crazy.
Okay, think about it for a second, okay? She gets out of the Lazarus pool. Her sister takes her over, and they're like, But everybody knows that when you go in the Lazarus pool, you're a little messed up top.
That's
because
true.
it's not, you're not normal as is. And Nessa's kind of maybe getting in her head and how these seasons go. I mean, we know how the writers on Arrow can just be a little off the rocker a little bit. And in a fit of rage, Sarah Lance crushes.
Yeah, but Laurel's pretty
Lara.
much the most Laurel's pretty much the most popular character on the show, right? I think everyone since season 1 is like,
Definitely
I can't wait till
wants her.
she's Black
Can
Canary.
I throw a death prediction out there to join the Deadpool?
Do it.
Fine.
Do it.
I came up with it while you were talking.
Deadpool.
No.
He's going to come on the show and then die.
Thea kills Malcolm before the end of the season.
Oh, I would.
Ooh,
that
I
would
can
be
see.
good.
I
I
can
could
see
totally
that.
see
There you
that.
go.
Why are you taking my thunder? I had an idea.
You guys are gonna put any money down on any of these predictions. I feel like it's Jason's. I totally agree with you. I think that might be what
Did I
happens.
steal yours? I'm sorry.
No. I think it's leading up to that. I think there was enough conflict in season 3 between them that I could totally see that happening.
Because I mean, I don't know where else Merlin could really go at this point.
Yeah, he's at the top now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and then Nice is like on his ass right now. You know what I mean? So something's bound to happen this season. I agree with that.
And for me, I think, in terms of the lightheartedness that they are saying is going to be injected into Arrow, I feel like we're going to get that. I think we're going to get a lot of the tone that we get in Flash in Arrow. I hope not too much, though. I hope they continue to keep
kind
it
of
dark.
Yeah.
that would
Not
worry
too
me.
campy.
Yeah.
And listen, I
Right.
love the Flash. Don't get me wrong, but the reason I like Arrow is because it is dark.
Yes.
I would love to get back to that darkness of season 1, where I'm like, who is he gonna kill?
I
Yeah.
do hope they don't
Unfortunately,
lose that.
I really don't think we're ever going back to that.
No.
I don't see it happening.
All right, so we do have some fan questions that we received on Twitter, so thank you guys for tweeting us. Let's get into those because I know a lot of it has to do with our predictions for season 4. So our first question comes from JT Shadow 35, who asks, now that Sarah is alive again, do you think we will ever see flashbacks of Sarah depicting her life in the League of Assassins? Michael?
I could see maybe an episode devoted to her flashback, kind of like what they did this season with Deadshot, which was actually my favorite flashback of the season. It was really good. I could see maybe they're not going to devote a whole season, obviously, to that, but I could see at least one flashback, which would be great. I'd love to see that.
Yeah, I love Sarah. I've always been intrigued by that character, ever since she debuted as the Canary, and so I would love to see her involvement, her training, all of that, because I thought she was such a badass female character.
I would like, what I would like to see is a flashback where, and this is just going to throw everything off, and this goes back to my love of the flashbacks, is that they're training the League of Assassins, and there's some sort of flashback between Oliver and Sarah, and he sees her in like a moment, and he's like, oh, and then maybe he's like not sure if that actually happened.
See, that's kind of my thing, though. I don't like that. It's kind of like the episode when Oliver went back to
Shadow.
When he was just like stalking the party. It's like, hey, I was here the whole time, and you had no idea. Like, I'm not a fan of that.
Yeah,
I don't know. So you're wrong again.
Thanks.
Yeah.
I know in the YouTube comments I am going to get destroyed on all of my predictions. Everything. Bring on the hate.
I think we will see a flashback of Sarah because it's something the writers said that they almost did in season 2, and they just ran out of time. Like, they were like, oh crap, we need this X amount of episodes to build to the Deathstroke fight. We have to cut the Sarah flashback. It was going to happen, and then they got rid of it. Yeah. So I'm certain they held on to that script, and it's going to come back again. If it doesn't come back here, we'll see it in Legends of Tomorrow.
All right. Yeah. Next question comes from Isidro Lopez, who asks, with John Constantine now part of Arrow, is everything that happened on the Constantine show canon?
Yes, it's the Conflaroverse
I'm
now.
looking at Jason because I feel like you would know the most about this.
I mean, I don't know.
Did you just create your own thing?
Yes, Conflaroverse. It would lead you to believe that's the fact, because otherwise it would be a little stretch to be like, oh, this is the John Constantine, but it's this different John Constantine played by the same actor. I think they want that fan interaction. They want that fan love. That's the whole reason why they put him in the season. I'll put money right now. I'll put 1,000 Starling fake city bucks on. He's on the
Starbucks, if you will.
Yep, Starbucks.
Thanks, guys. I'll be here all week.
Hashtag.
He's gonna be on the phone in the episode, and he'll be talking to Chaz, which will be a direct link back to his show. Yep.
I agree with that, actually, 100%. It wouldn't be one of those like, again, with the whole Flash thing, it's like a parallel universe. They wouldn't do that. Again, I agree. It's like, because there were people that were hardcore supporters of Constantine. It was a good show. I think it just, needed some more time to really develop.
It needed a second season.
It really did. It really did. But no, I'm 100%.
One of those one-season shows that you never wanted to get canceled, like a Freaks and Geeks or something like that. I mean, you would hope that it would be canon. I don't necessarily think that. I mean, adding him into the mix is going to be something that makes or breaks the season. One thing that I do like about Arrow is that it has a lack of magic, if you will, like a lack of superhero. It has more of a realness thing to it. Adding the Constantine aspect into it will get us out of that realm, I guess. But, if they do it well enough, I don't see what's wrong with it, because there is a Flash that appears in the show. So what the hell?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would love for them to be consistent with what happened in the show Constantine, just to not devalue what happened in that series, So we'll see.
And it is cool that they kept the same actor.
Yeah.
I will say
I totally agree.
He is the perfect John Constantine.
He really is.
Like, he walked out of the comic books.
And I know that they said he's only appearing in one episode this season, which is fine. But I mean, I would have to assume this episode's going to do well enough. We're going to see him in the future.
I would be so surprised if we don't see him on Legends too.
Oh yes,
and even Flash. I mean,
any of them. Yeah. If his episode does well, I think he's here to stay.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next question comes from Harsh Joswell 505, who asks, Collider Video, how much of Legends of Tomorrow will affect Arrow? And so I know you were on that note, Jason, so why don't you start?
A lot? I don't know. It depends.
On a scale of 1 to 10.
Well, I mean, if you go by my prediction, which we all know I'm right, a lot. But I also wonder, I don't know which way they're going to go with it. They could do it either way. They could do Legends of Tomorrow has like huge ripples, or they could do it to where everything of Legends of Tomorrow happens in secret, because they all think Ray Palmer's dead. We know he's not, and I
Mm-hmm.
guarantee you Rip Hunter stole him away from that explosion, or he shrank down into the nano universe, and then we'll see him come out of it in Legends. So Legends could be the strike team, could be the behind the scenes team. I don't know. What do you think, Ann?
I feel like it's going to play a lot into what we see in Arrow. I think that they've used Arrow as the catalyst for Flash, and now again for Legends of Tomorrow. We saw in the season 4 trailer that, Sarah's resurrection is going to happen on Arrow before she goes to Legends of Tomorrow. So I can't imagine that they would let the shows run parallel without ever crossing. And so I think they will. Yes, I do. I think there's enough characters that were on Flash and that were on Arrow that will be on Legends of Tomorrow that I care enough about, especially Sarah, especially Ray Palmer. So we'll see what happens.
Maybe here's a question too. Will Legends of Tomorrow be better than Heroes Reborn?
Ooh.
I think that's a guaranteed yes.
Josh, any thoughts?
But I like the strike
Michael.
team theory. I like that a lot, actually, because remember, right now in Starling, Star City, vigilantes are basically a no-no. With Arrow being dead. So I can't see this team just like, I know that, I think it was Rip Hunter said that you guys are going to be known somewhere in the future, but not right now. You got to start from somewhere. So I like the fact that the strike team concept just seems great.
Yeah. And it's interesting because you're talking about the strike team, that they also said that the stuff we saw in that trailer, by the way, not in the pilot. No. They filmed that specifically for that trailer. So you can't, some of that stuff we can't take on face value, but you got to assume they're going to take a lot from it.
Of course,
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to, I guess, the opening of that universe, to seeing, because this might sound a little offensive to Legends of Tomorrow, but like it's almost like a bullpen of superheroes, right? It's a bullpen of these guys of like, oh, a bunch of people on social media want to see us do things, and let's put them in a show. Let's hope that they use it well, and it's not just like, let's throw in a Bob Ross painting and happy little tree here or there. Yeah. Let's see what they can do, kind of a thing. How it's going to affect the Arrow universe. I hope it's not like, let's shove one in there and see if it works. I hope it works organically.
I can't help but feel that they're gonna promote the show somehow. Yeah. We're gonna see some sort of a crossover. Hopefully it won't affect it too much though.
And I would have agreed with you from what they were talking about Legends of Tomorrow until they revealed Rip Hunter. Rip Hunter is glue. He's a time master of the DC universe. His father is Booster Gold, which I hope they eventually introduce into that show, and that's a big secret of him. But him being the glue to bring this secret strike team, as I hope they do it, like that's what kind of solidizes that show or makes it more solid. And I mean, also
solidifies.
Solidifies. Thank you. I can't speak.
Little GW moment there.
But and also, like, I would be so surprised if we didn't see Rip Hunter on Arrow.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, you guys, I think we've run out of time. That's going to do it for us. Thank you so much for joining us for this very first Arrow recap show, our very first only pre-show. Make sure you subscribe to Collider Video to follow us during the whole season 4. Arrow premieres on October 7th. So after each episode, join us on Collider Video and make sure you watch our recap show to talk with us about everything you love and hate about the show. Make sure you leave a comment for us, especially Josh Macuga, and tell him how much he's wrong. Hashtag Collider Arrow on Twitter, and make sure you follow all of us. And speaking of that, you guys, Josh, where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Josh Macuga. Everywhere, just my name, Macuga, Josh Macuga.
And Michael, where can people follow you?
You can find me at Mr. Michael Alexis on Twitter, and I'll be heading out of here to the mall to go pick up a green hoodie because clearly I'm underdressed.
Jason,
don't
what
fail
about
this
you?
show.
You can find me on Twitter at Jawan. I will not be buying a green hoodie, but I might buy a full Flash bodysuit. I don't know, maybe. What do you think?
Ooh.
That would be awesome.
Yeah.
All right, you guys can follow me at Campea on all areas of social media. Again, tweet us at hashtag Collider Arrow. And until October 7th, we will see you guys next time, and make sure you guys hood up and ready yourselves for our next episode.
Can I pop my collar?
Or Diggle flannel up.
Close. Diggle
Bye,
flannel up.
guys.
Hashtag done.